They laughed when they saw me again. 15 years later, same table, same smirks. Except this time, I wasn't the one broken. Keith leaned back in his chair, whiskey in hand, grin wide. "Still playing father to that sick boy, huh?" he said. "What was his name again?" Sarah chuckled. "Doesn't matter. Poor thing probably didn't make it past 12. I smiled. Calm. The kind of calm that hides a storm beneath it. And then I said, "You can ask him yourself. He's on his way." Their laughter died before the door even opened. Sarah wasn't always cruel. She used to be sunlight. Back when I believed in things like loyalty, like love lasting. Keith was my brother, my blood. We built a construction firm together. Sweat, dirt, and long nights on the road. Sarah would bring us sandwiches, sit with us, laugh with us. She said we were her two favorite men. I didn't realize she meant it literally. The betrayal came quietly. A perfume I didn't recognize on his jacket. A message on her phone. "He'll never know, I promise." Then came the night she left. No note, no explanation. Just an empty closet and a hospital appointment reminder for our son, Adam. He was 8, fragile, born with a heart condition that required more money than love could buy. When she left, he asked me one question that still burns through me. "Did I do something wrong, Dad?" That was the night something inside me shifted. I stopped waiting for people to do the right thing. I started making sure they couldn't do the wrong one without consequence. Keith and Sarah married 2 years later. She wore white again. He wore my father's cufflinks. And me? I wore a smile. They thought I was drowning in medical bills, that Adam was dying slowly in some corner of the world. What they didn't know was that I built something, quietly, efficiently, under their noses. I sold my share of the firm to Keith, pretending to be desperate for cash. He bought it, smug and self-assured. I took that money and invested it in a medical tech startup founded by one of Adam's doctors. That company saved my son's life. And in return, it made me rich beyond anything Keith could imagine. Adam grew stronger. He studied medicine. He didn't just survive, he excelled. I never told him about them. I wanted his strength to come from who he was, not from what they did. But when he graduated, I told him everything. Showed him the photos, the wedding announcement, the messages. He didn't cry. He just said, "When do I meet them?" That's when I knew he was my son. The reunion wasn't planned. Keith had called me out of the blue, his company in trouble, projects failing. He wanted a little help. He didn't know the venture firm he was trying to pitch to was mine. So I said yes to dinner. Sarah showed up in diamonds. Keith wore a watch that wasn't his. And they mocked me, just like old times. "You still living in that tiny house? How's that sick kid of yours? Must be hard doing it all alone." Every word was a test, and I let them talk. I wanted to see how far their arrogance would stretch before snapping. Then I leaned forward, calm, deliberate. "I'm not alone," I said. "He's on his way." The restaurant door opened. Adam walked in, tall, composed, a surgeon now, the same piercing eyes as mine. Sarah went pale. Keith choked on his drink. Adam stopped by their table, hands in his pockets. "Hi, Mom," he said softly. "Uncle?" Her lips trembled. "You're alive?" He smiled. "Thanks to Dad." Keith tried to recover. We thought you—" I cut him off. "Died? You did. You both did. 15 years ago, the day you walked out." No one spoke after that. The air was heavy with everything they'd buried under laughter and lies. Adam pulled out a chair and sat beside me, calm, confident, my living reminder of everything they'd thrown away. Keith looked at me then, really looked, and realized. He'd mocked the man who saved the son he abandoned. He'd built his empire on betrayal, while I built mine on patience. And I could see it in his eyes. He knew who had won. When the check came, I paid it, out of habit, not generosity. Old habits die hard, but some debts never will. As we stood to leave, Sarah whispered, "Why now? Why show him to us?" I looked at her, steady and cold. So you'd see what you lost. And so he'd see what he never needed. Adam held the door open for me. As we stepped out into the night, I heard her sob once. Quiet, broken, useless. I didn't turn back. I'd already buried them once. And this time, they stayed dead.